have a problem with this main aggressor theory for two reasons. You had Donovan, Jackson, and Hyatt as three perpetrators striking Shaquille Robinson. You had two half of men in the room by the name of Dreyer and Cook. A lot of people are asking, why isn't everybody being sought after for an arrest for her murder? To be honest with you, because the Mexican government, as well as the United States government, don't really have enough to really pursue serious criminal charges. So, here's my take on how I think this is going to play out in the angle that the government, Mexico, and the United States intend to play. It's just my theory. It doesn't have to be right. But I love advancing my theory because I'm never worried about being wrong about a theory. I like to do more than just talk about what they did. I like to theorize what could go down in a criminal setting to bring a resolution to the case. Not justice, a resolution. Because our courts are not about justice. It's about business. Only bringing things to a resolution. So if you're looking for justice, you may have to wait on the maker of the world. Now, it should be noted that Mexico trials are done in Spanish according to the Mexican Constitution. You have this main aggressor by the name of Elisa Hyatt, who doesn't speak Spanish. Don't understand the Spanish language. Don't understand the legal language. That's a hell of a position to be in. And that also creates a problem. But before I address that particular problem, I want to back up and state that Elisa Hyatt had a sister that was murdered by the hands of her boyfriend or ex-husband, one of them. Don't recall. And that murder occurred on October the 28th, 2022, at about 1 a.m. in the morning. And this main aggressor had the audacity to still go to Mexico. Simply stated, the fact that she did not stay home, mourn, and didn't feel any remorse for her sister's death, was able to press on to go enjoy herself in Mexico, that is direct evidence that she's a cold, evil booger wolf. You would think that a person so generous as Shaquille Robinson, who would pay these dirt bags way to Mexico, the accommodations, and bring them back, would have some type of love, affection for that jester, even if they really didn't like her. And they didn't like her. See, people, when you are too good for people, there'll be signs that tell you to disband from them people before it escalates. Now, you can abuse your discretion if you want and blow it off like it was nothing. But I'm going to tell you, them signs are astronomical. Now, let me just tell you about a little story real quick, and I'll get back on the Shaquille Robinson. It was a friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name. He's still alive. I don't want to embarrass him. But when me and him was 13 years old, we was working at the newspaper place. We walking home before we got our checks. Because we got our cash. They paid us in cash, and they paid us pretty good. I said, hey, put your money in your sock, man. You know they packing pistols around here, and we don't pack pistols. We not street guys. We ain't in that. Put your money up. I ain't got to put nothing up. I ain't scared. I said it's not being scared, man. It's being prepared because we not prepared because we don't have weapons. Well, I put mine, and at that time I was wearing some K-Swiss. I remember those tennis shoes, red K-Swiss. I took my shoes off and put it in my sock and put my shoe back on. As we got to walking halfway to the house, two people pulled a pistol on us and demanded money. Told us to turn our pockets out. He turned theirs in and out first, and they took his money. When it got to me, I turned my pockets in, and he said, "You ain't got no money?" I said, "No." And he said, "I ought to shoot you." I said, "For what? I don't have any money." And then this friend, whom I thought was a friend, but when he was a friend until he showed me he wasn't. He said, "No, he got it in his shoe." Now that shocked me. It shocked me. And even at 13, I understood he was jealous of me. Now when he did this here, it set the stage of how I would deal with him. And today, in 2022 of November, he has not changed. Now, nor do I hang around him. This put me on notice that you got people, when they fall, they want you to fall. And this type of thinking is psychotic, because if you fall, have you ever considered that I can help you when you fall? But if you take me down with you, nobody can help us and we both perish? See, people, I saw that when I was 13 years old. So I'm of the opinion that Cabo Robison, at some point in time, with these vultures, saw those animalistic faces that they portrayed, but failed to back away. Because when I see that video of her being beat in that lodging area in the room, I had to ask myself, what manner of man or woman would plot and sit in a room and discuss what they're about to do to an alleged friend that showed monumental generosity? You have to be so wicked and so evil to have done such a wicked thing. Now, here is the problem with this case. A lot of people are very happy that an arrest warrant has been issued for one of the aggressors that they call main aggressor. You should be sad, because that creates a real problem. If the Mexican government had state officials or even federal agents tamper with a crime scene, lie about a crime scene, omit something, they can no longer have jurisdiction to prosecute, because we know the outcome of the trial already. Now, it has been said that a Mexican medical personnel was with Cabo Robison for about 3 hours. And it also has been reported that the death certificate has a death at 3 and a police report at 6. See, people, if you really look at it, I really don't believe that she will be extradited. I'm going to give you 2 theories of what I think is going to happen with this case. Because the Mexican courts hold trial in Spanish, and she would have to have a translator there, and it won't be nobody from the United States. They will appoint her an attorney. there will be nobody there to really advocate to make sure she get a fair trial. Even though this scorpion, this snake, this viper did a heinous crime, she too must be dealt with in a civilized manner in accordance with due process law. Now, in my opinion, I do not think the United States government want to really extradite her for those particular reasons. Because if a doctor or a nurse that arrived at that scene, or a police or a federale arrived and stole money or took a bribe, I don't know what happened. These are scenarios. Then they could not prosecute the case. That would be a ground for the United States to say we're not going to extradite. And the United States doesn't have to extradite. They can decline. But now, where the corruption come in at is when the federal government purports, the federal government of the United States purports to have jurisdiction for this particular incident. The only way the United States government can have jurisdiction, they have to establish or to get somebody in that group, the main aggressor, anybody, to say that they hatched that plot in the United States and carried out in Mexico. That would be legal grounds for prosecution. And I do believe that that's going to be the narrative. Not because it happened, but it is convenient. Because going forth with a trial in Mexico, being an African-American woman, and only going after this one alleged main aggressor and allowing the others to be free will create a serious problem going forth with prosecution. I believe that the United States government, as well as the Mexican government, is going to offer plea bargains for about 20 years and agree to be, they can agree to, see, this is business. They're going to agree to give her probably 20 years for pleading guilty and to simplify things. Now, they really don't want a trial. The United States government nor the Mexican government want a jury trial. Let me tell you why. Or even a trial by judge, but I wouldn't choose a trial by judge. Here is the main reason they don't want a jury trial or a trial, period. You have to prove that that so-called main aggressor was the one who caused the injury to the neck and back, as opposed to the other assailants. And that's going to be hard to do beyond a reasonable doubt. This is why they're not going after everybody at the time, because they don't really have a narrative. Because if you're charging somebody with murder and you start trying to get all of them, at this point in the game, you don't have manner or means. At this point in the game, people, I'm going to be honest with you, where these legal analyses will not. The United States or Mexico really don't have a case against any of them until somebody go to talking. Until they get them in custody and trick them to talk. They need a narrative to go on. But I can tell you like this here. They overcharge and it's not murder. It's manslaughter. You don't have one main aggressor. You have 5 main aggressors. Despite the fact you didn't see the 2 half men strike the woman. The fact that you sit there and allow this to go on, you are an accessory. Listen, it'll be hard to convict those 2 guys because people fight every day. People don't jump into it. All right. And they can raise an affirmative defense that I didn't want to get into it. But let me tell y'all something. I am glad those idiots was recording. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if we didn't have those videos of that fight, there will be no prosecution whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you why. because each and everybody in that room can create a story, and there will be nothing outside of their story to contradict. So therefore, a prosecution couldn't even go forth. And another thing, it kills any affirmative defenses that any of them might have. I don't expect charges coming from the two guys because they really didn't break the law. It's not against the law to sit back and watch somebody fight. They had to know the end result. So don't expect charges against them that will be solid. You know, the prosecutor can charge anybody with anything. That don't mean that it will succeed. This case posed a particular problem because she's African American, and trying to go to Mexico and conduct a trial, and you don't know Spanish, you don't understand it, you're really pretty much out of there. And the United States government, as well as the Mexican government, they looking at this here. Because this case can turn pretty quick, people, to where if it comes out that the police stole money, the police actually, because at this point in the game, people, I'm going to be honest with you, based on what I'm hearing, that nurse or police of the Mexican government could have easily murdered her through omission of not doing anything. So this is why they're going after this particular aggressor, because they need her in custody to question. That's why they're going after her. They're trying to simplify this thing because I don't think they really want her to be extradited. So I expect plea bargains to be done in this case. And I also expect any lawyer that is appointed to her to cross her out and to scare her, because the federal government going to get her in custody and say, hey, look, you need to talk to us so we can work this out where you can do your time here. You know you don't want to go to Mexico. You don't speak the language. They're going to scare her, all right? So when they do that, she's going to go to talking. Now, if she don't talk, they got an uphill battle because you just can't extradite somebody. You got the Vienna Convention. You also got the Interpol. You got to go through a lot of things to get a person extradited to another country. It's not as simple as they want you to think, but I do see that they are trying to conduct this case in a more efficient manner by they don't want a trial, people. Trust me. They don't want a trial. They are trying to gather evidence to keep that case in this country. That's just my belief. Because like I said, going forward, if the allegations come out and it can be made or asserted that, hey, man, they took her money, they refused to take her to the hospital, if that come out, it's a wrap for that case, unless somebody talk, because guess what? They wasn't fugitives when they left that country. The Mexican government threw their hands up at the incident and walked away. So now, if you are looking for them to do justice, no, they looking to put an end to a business decision. This is all business, folks. It's not justice. Shaquella Robinson cannot get justice. The only justice that is due is a trial so the world can know what happened, what prompted these booger bandits to do what they did. I'm known as Speak Van Holden. Y'all have a nice day.